what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I thought it'd be fun today to have a nice little sit down, little chat. We're going to be doing a little bit of resin mixing. So we're going to be doing first a meteorite ring, but we want to do a glow liner for it. So we're going to be using, this is polyester casting resin I've got here, and then we'll be mixing in some of the always wonderful Techno glow powder. Link in the description, by the way, if you want to buy some of this, as well as just some green pigment. So this will color our resin green, and then this will make it glow green, so they'll match. You can actually do it different. You can put in red pigment and have it glow green, whatever you want to do. But it's usually a good idea just to match them. That way there's nothing really unexpected going on. You can get some cool, crazy combinations though, if you want to get into that. But we're going to keep things simple in today's video. Essentially the idea is we're taking this meteorite ring blank we've got here. We actually get these cut by the water jet channel. So they take these slabs that we have and we have to work around a bunch of cracks and different challenges that they have. So you can see we can't exactly utilize the entire slab. So they can be pretty tricky. They're hard and finicky to work with, and there can even be hidden cracks that your ring will just fall apart halfway through. So they're kind of a pain, but the results are definitely worth it if you've ever seen what etched meteorite looks like. Specifically this type of meteorite, we use Muoniana lusta. And so we're going to be hollowing this out, getting it to size. We're also going to be casting a rod of glow resin. So I've got this piece of PVC tubing, and we're just going to be using that. I've got duct tape here. And this is going to be a very, very kind of bare bones, as basic as it gets casting technique. It would be best to have kind of like a silicone mold, something better than that, or even use some mold release. But this is just kind of a quick and dirty prototype. And so that's the reason you'll see me using this. Then there's also a chance of any of the glow powder or pigment settling. So basically if you put too much of it in there, it can't stay suspended in the resin perfectly. So you'll get kind of a gradient where it's got less glow powder and pigment at the top and it gets denser towards the bottom. And so that's why we're doing such a big piece, even though we need to do one ring. This way it's kind of hard to mess up. So if we do get a kind of messed up spot here at the bottom, that's okay, because we're gonna have a big section here. But in future videos, I definitely would like to get into using some better molds, maybe silicone like I said. So let me know if that's something that interests you. I think there's a lot of fun possibilities we could do with resin. Anyways, I think that's enough talking. What we'll do is we'll take our scale. I need to weigh out exactly how much resin I need and then add a certain number of drops of catalyst to that to get it to harden. You can add more or less depending on how quickly you want it to cure, things like that. So we'll go into that a little bit. And then we'll need to swirl in some of our pigment and our glow powder. And then we need to make sure this is a bubble-free casting. So we're going to be using a combination of the vacuum chamber to degas the resin, and then a pressure pot to crush any of the remaining bubbles that are left in it. And that should give us a totally bubble-free casting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I'm just quickly weighing out the amount of resin that we'll need. It doesn't need to be super precise, but this just gives us a really good idea so we'll know how much catalyst to use later. And then I'm shaking in a little bit of this green pigment here, and I'm going to start with a little bit and slowly add more and more. I'd much rather have too little and have to add more pigment than to add more resin to it. Then we'll be left with way too much resin. That's just wasteful. And then you'll see I swirl in as much glow powder as I can, and I added it multiple times, and you want to be careful not to do too much. The resin can only sustain a certain amount of glow powder, so if you go over that, that's where you can run into some issues. So I'm being careful, adding it slowly, but I eventually get the results I want. Now I'm pouring the mix into the PVC pipe like I said, and then we're transferring it over to the vacuum chamber, and we just turn that on, and it takes about 10 minutes. And you do need to be pretty quick because I've already mixed in the catalyst, and if I'm not fast enough, this will turn into a jelly and get permanent bubbles trapped in it, so we got to be pretty quick. But once we've released all the bubbles, we're able to release the vacuum, pull it out, and now we're switching it over to the pressure pot, and I'm filling it to just over 40 psi. These can be very, very dangerous if you overfill them, and so the capacity on this one is 60 psi, and so I'm staying well beneath that because I seriously don't want to take any risks with this. And now we'll go ahead and get started on machining the meteorite blank. We've got about 48 hours to wait until this rod is completely cured. So we'll do as much as we can on the meteorite blank, and then through the magic of editing, we'll be able to instantly transfer over to our finished cast, and then we'll machine that to the shape we need and then combine the two components. So you'll see I'm using this boring bar here to hollow it out to the correct inside diameter that we need, and I'm not machining this to the ring size we want. I need to remember that I do need to leave room for that liner, so I'm making it a little bit bigger. That way we'll have room for the glow resin and it'll still be the correct ring size. Now I'm just going to trim up the outside. I'll do the bulk of the machining that needs to be done with it, because once we combine the two materials, we'll be much further along, and if I mess anything up, it's just going to be wasting even more time. So I'm getting it as close as I can, but I'll save a few of the finishing touches till the end once we've got all the materials combined. Now what I've got here is another blank that I was able to use mold release on, and I did this a day after once my mold release actually came in the mail. I was hoping to have it for this ring actually, but I wanted to show you the way it worked, and so I just sprayed a little bit in that tube and this slid right out, and I was expecting to go through a lot more trouble to get the green blank out, but I guess this polyester resin, it must shrink a little bit more than other resins I've used, so it actually came out without too much trouble. It was a little bit more difficult, but this was actually a really easy method and gave us really good results, and we didn't even need the mold release. And you can see just how cool this thing turned out. I've got this UV light here. I'm going to charge it up and you can just see how cool that glow is that it puts off. Now that we're done messing around, we need to go ahead and trim the rod down to the correct outer diameter that we need. We want this to snugly fit inside of the Meteorite blank. You'll see I very slowly trim it down, and I even mess up a few times. I go a little bit too far, and you'd be amazed at how close you have to get it in order for it to be a nice fit. Even the slightest fraction of a turn with my control dials for the lathe will be the difference between a sloppy loose fit and a perfect nice fit. So every time the fit isn't close enough, you'll see me create another step, and so we can just try again. And I don't want any of the material that I messed up on to go to waste, and so I'll be sure to save that, and I can use it on a smaller size of ring. And now that we've got the size correct, I'm going to be using some CA glue to combine the two materials. I want to make sure that I've got complete coverage all the way around our glow resin, and then once I combine the two, I use some CA glue accelerator to make it bond together instantly. Now it's time to go ahead and machine the resin a bit more. We need to cut a hole in the middle of it, and then use the boring bar to trim it closer to the size we want. I'm going to stop a little bit before we get there because I want to leave some space to do some really good sanding, make sure it's a perfectly smooth finish. So I'm going to call it good here. And just for fun, I'm going to turn the lights out. You can see all the cool shavings everywhere, and then you can get a preview of what this is going to look like once it's done. Now I'll detach it from the rest of our rod using the hacksaw, and then just clean it all up with the Dremel. And you can see I gave it a lot of extra space to the side. And this is because if there's any cracks or problems that happen as I'm cutting it with the hacksaw, we can just sand right through those. We've got plenty of extra space there. So I actually didn't run into any of those issues, thankfully, but I just do extra just in case. And then I'll be using the Dremel to get all the shaping we want, smooth everything out, get it to about the final size we need. And just so you know, the customer requested a size 11 1/4, so I'm stopping with the Dremel at about a size 11, and then from here on out we'll use sandpaper. And you'll notice I do a bit of wet sanding. That helps me get a really nice, smooth, consistent finish. It's not totally necessary, but it also does help maintain a nice cool temperature. And on resins that can be important because you can actually burn them. So I'm just taking my time, making sure it's nice and wet, making sure my sanding is really even. And then once we're done with all the different grits of our sandpaper, in case you didn't know, I usually start at about 220 grit and I go up to about 1500. And then once we're done with the sanding, I'm switching over to these two paper towels. One of them has a white polishing compound, the other one has a green. And so that's basically a medium polish and then a high polish. So that gets that resin up to that really nice shiny finish that I like. So now we're done with the inside of it. We still need to etch the Meteorite, but I think the inside turned out really nicely. And you can see the resin's a bit transparent because of how thin it is. And it's pretty interesting because you can see through the resin and see some of the natural features the Meteorite has on it. Now we'll give it a quick 20-minute bath in this muriatic acid with hydrogen peroxide in it. And I decided to do another time lapse because you guys really seemed to like that in my previous video. I think it's really interesting to see this go from a bare metal look all the way to this really cool, very contrasty pattern that the Meteorite has. So now we'll pull it out of the acid. I'll rinse it off in some baking soda water. That'll completely neutralize any of the remaining acid that's stuck on here. And then all we have left to do is go take a bunch of fun photos and videos of this. The patterns on the Meteorite are really fun to photograph. It looks completely different from multiple different angles. So I've got a spinning video of it. You can check out all the different patterns and features it has. Then it also glows. So that's also another place where I have a lot of fun taking pictures of the ring. So this is a really versatile ring. It looks really cool in a lot of different circumstances. The patterns on these completely blow everyone away that I show a ring to. And then that glow is really amazing. It's something that no one really would expect to come from a ring. And it's always a good conversation starter. You can even use your phone flashlight to supercharge that glow to the point where you can see it in daylight. So I think this would be a really interesting ring to show off. So that's it for this ring, guys. I'm about to switch back over to me doing the outro, but real quick, I got a little secret for you. I'm actually doing a giveaway on my Instagram where I give away a Timascus ring. If you haven't seen that, it's really cool. It's 2 different types of titanium that have been blended together. And then once you machine a ring out of it, you can actually heat treat it to make it turn different colors. So you get a lot of cool purples and blues, and you can see all the swirled patterns of the 2 different types that have been mixed together. So it's a really unique and interesting ring. And I usually sell them for $700 on my website. So if you've been wanting one of these rings, now is a great time to get one for free. And I'm doing it on my Instagram because I want to do it for kind of like my most hardcore followers, someone who actually appreciate this ring and like it. And so even though I've got like 270,000 followers on YouTube, I only have like 30,000 on Instagram, so your chances are way higher there. So you can follow the link I've got in the description. All you need to do is follow my page and comment on the post. So it's super simple, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If this is your first time on my channel, you can subscribe by clicking the PAD logo that just popped up on the right. If you're interested in buying a ring, I've got a link to my website just right below me. And if you're interested in making rings, there's a link in the description to that. I've got a supplies website and a rings website. And then in that bottom right-hand corner, that's a video of mine that YouTube, based on your interests, is actually recommending specifically to you. So if you want to see another cool ring video, click on that. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.